That's a good way to get whacked.
Yeah, we're going live. So we'll give everyone a few minutes with the train and all that just went by. We got some folks coming in, so we'll give it a few minutes to see if we got.
Dina just said waiting on the train.
Yeah, we'll see.
Trains and detours, yeah.
Trains and detours and stuff. So give everyone a few minutes. Hopefully we can make quorum. I knew Lori wasn't going to be here, so.
Kimby said she wasn't going to make it too, right?
All right.
Did she mention that last time?
That's going to make it close.
Good evening. How are you?
You get caught by the train too?
Well, yeah. And normally I live on the east side of town, which normally I wouldn't have. But I joined a new board, and I met for the first time today. Like, I shouldn't have said it's a good. I shouldn't say yes. It's the Creative Institute. No, I should have said yes. I love it. But it's like it overlaps with this one, but it ends at 6:30. But it's in West Conway.
Where is it?
At Salter.
Oh, okay.
So it was a good first meeting. I just I need to get used to doing both.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
The 28th.
Is 28. Yeah, so I guess wonder if Carol's gonna make it. Have any you heard from Carol?
I think she wrote a text. Did she see
Yeah,
tonight?
she texted.
Yeah, she said see y'all tonight. So we don't have we can kind of the stuff that we got to vote on or whatever. We can wait till she gets here. But if you want, we can kind of just start kind of going through and just kind of chit chatting about the actual master plan.
Mm-hmm.
I've given everybody, you got a copy of our agenda there and should have a paper copy of the master plan.
Yep.
Make notes on, and on the agenda, a lot like sections 1 through 4 is section 1's introduction, benefits of cycling, existing conditions, and then projects and activities at present. Since I'm the bike and pedestrian coordinator, I felt like those would be good for me to kind of, manage those and look at those and make any edits. Obviously, we got some updates to do on the officials, board members, and development staff, department staff as well. So I can take care of all that, but then I was just going to have, and we'll, like I said, we'll wait on Carol to assign these, but I just figured we'd kind of it's probably good to team up on these because some of them are big. The bicycle advocacy chapter, chapter 5, is big, and then infrastructure plans, reviewing that. That's pretty big. Chapter 6 is probably the largest one, so probably put 2 people on that working together. Some of this might involve physically going out and looking at some of these areas that are on here, and just looking at them and seeing, connectivity and different things that we want to do, like connecting to Hendricks and different things. The other thing I need to do is get you guys a map of the Connect Conway and what we're doing with the RAISE grant. That project is, hey, Carol.
Hi, how are you? Oh, yes.
I was just kind of kicking things.
Okay.
We were just talking, so we haven't officially started.
Okay.
I think Kaylin, you said, you remember Kimby said she wouldn't be here.
I think she said that last time, yeah, it's when we moved it.
Lori can't be here, so, this is our crew that we've got, so do we have enough?
Is it a quorum?
So one,
Five?
five is,
Yeah.
So, just barely, so thanks for making it, Carol.
Saved our bacon.
Yeah, thanks, save your bacon. So anyhow, yeah, let's just jump into the meeting here, official. I'll make the call to order. So appreciate everybody attending, March 28th here. I see we've got 5 members present, so we have a quorum, absent Lori and Kimby. We have attached to the agenda, we have the meeting minutes from February. Kaylin, thanks for doing a great job on these. I'd like to move that we approve these minutes. Do you have any questions on those?
I read them already. It's
Okay.
good to me.
So you got anyone second?
second.
Second, all right. All right, meeting minutes are approved for February. We kind of went over, if you recall, we just basically introduced Kimby as a new member, went over expectations and all of that. And then we gave some updates and then basically picked what we're about to work on here a little bit later is the master plan. And we'll kind of kick that off tonight and kind of assign some chapters. So old business, some updates. Just wanted to share Markham Street Phase 2 is nearing completion. It's not open yet, but it's getting very close. So we expect that to be finishing up. Had some good discussion with Jeremy about the lane block, protected bike lane delineators that we're going to do on Hairston.
Right.
Those are in production. Hopefully we'll be able to start piloting those and putting those down. It's probably going to be May till they go down. We're going to do 30-day study on basically usership of those bike lanes, and then do after we install those. If you recall, we're going to do another 30-day study and send out some surveys.
Okay.
And so we'll be asking you whenever we're doing that, we'll be asking you for some input too. And then any members of the community that you know that are using it, we'll try to get that survey out to as many people as possible. Update on the bike trail at Pompey Park. The Veterans Park. The bridges are in, the paving's done. There's a parking lot that is going to go in. It was in the plans to go in off of Morningside. So you'll be able to drive up on Morningside. So that's in design. So we think we're just going to leave it until they're done tearing it up some more with the parking lot construction before we go back and try to reconnect the bike trail. So unfortunately, that's going to be a little while longer. And once we do it, we'll try to upgrade it and make it better than it was before. The bike-friendly community, we're working on the signage to get replaced from the bronze to the silver. So as you enter the community, you'll see signs saying that we're a silver bike-friendly community. So we're working on that. Some other from the street department, the college side path from Ferris to Salem is actually going out to that's that project we talked about last year for those of you that were here, where that's going to have a side path, basically a bike path on college. So that's going to help UCA students get up to that area. That's gone out for bid. So that's once that's done and bids are accepted. So I don't have a project completion or anything for that, but that project is moving on.
Are they still doing the underpass under Salem there too?
So that's the next thing is the Salem underpass.
Oh, okay.
That's going to start construction as soon as school is out. So Salem will be closed in that area. We are gonna look at, because of the Kinley Trail, we will not be able to access Kinley Trail through that area.
Okay.
We will try our best to find some acceptable reroutes for bicycles and pedestrians, but it's going to be a challenge. So no promise on that.
Right.
One of the challenges with that is you have to try and remain like ADA compliant and different things. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that or not, but we're looking at it.
Okay.
There's some sidewalk additions and repairs that are continuing in some of the older residential areas around town. I don't have all of it, but that's like an ongoing project. The Caldwell and Donaghy roundabout is going to be constructed this summer. So that roundabout construction, the plans are going to be in line with the other roundabouts,
right?
As far as how the bike lanes and everything merge. So that's about it for that from the street department. I'm not missing anything else. You guys have any questions on any of that?
One thing on just the Harrison, little traffic bumps, whatever.
Yeah.
I have a prototype. I don't know exactly how clean it is. I mean, close to this is a real one, but Jeremy gave it to me.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it today and I forgot. You think I should just bring it in so you guys can see what they kind of look like?
Okay.
It might be a different color.
Have you seen them or no?
I think I did when Jeremy was still on the board.
Yeah.
He had one.
Okay.
There's a couple, 3 different ones, and there's looking at colors too. So
Right.
Yeah.
I'll try to
We'll be
remember.
sticking with the green, green color, and because it's going to be very similar to that same color of green that
It's on Donaghy
is
by
on
UCA.
Donaghy that indicates the bike lane.
Yes.
And then like some of the discussion we're having is through, it will be continuous past driveways, but it's going to be a little different lane block. It's going to be flat. It won't have the 2 little rises on it. It'll be flat, just so it's a little bit less of a bump, but at least visually there's a continuation down the bike lane.
Okay.
So as people turn into their driveways, they don't have a large bump or anything. So.
I had a question from a neighbor on bike lanes. Was when you have it like on Harrison, what happens when there's on both sides of the street? Is there parking on the bike lane? Because there's not a sign. It wasn't real clear. I go,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
There is an ordinance in Conway. I don't know the exact number, but there is an ordinance passed for no parking in bike lanes. It's a challenge because of some of the historic nature, some of the houses where they're older and they may not have a garage and different things. And you have more than, they're built in a time when families, if they were lucky, had 1 car and now they have 3.
Right.
And so that's a challenge to enforce. And so that's something that, there's no parking in the bike lanes, but it's, typically like on Harrison, you don't see a lot of parking in the bike lane on Harrison.
The school has its own parking.
Yeah. So where you see it more is in more, I guess, not that Harrison's not residential, but, I'd say Davis is an example, but Davis is such a low speed, low traffic area that cyclists can navigate safer, where if folks park in Harrison in the bike lanes, it can be a safety issue just because of the traffic on Harrison.
Is there, on South German Lane to the left is opposite of the construction of those buildings? Is that a bike or a parking area? And is that part of the bike lane there? I noticed cars parked there today, and I didn't see any bikes or anything. I'm like, is that part of?
You're talking about the little parking lot by Stone Dam Creek? Is it?
It's if you turn off of Daybord Drive past Germantown Apartments and keep going down, it's
Heading
to the
south.
right, and it's like a little parking area.
It'd be on the
there.
right though if you're going south.
Yeah, if you're going
right?
south,
Yeah.
it'd be on
Is
the
that what
right.
you're
talking
about?
Yes, So if it's on the right and it's like opposite of the construction that's going
Yeah.
on, is that
I bet
part
that's
of?
Stone Dam Creek.
So it's, okay, so that's what that is.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a trailhead parking
That
for
is
Stone Dam Creek.
okay. I've not. I've wondered about
Yeah.
that, and and everything. I've been noticing cars, I'm like, it's a small parking area. I'm like, is that part of the bike
Yeah.
trail?
It's pretty new. I think, was it
Is it?
last year that it opened up maybe?
Yeah, they
or-
finished it last year.
Okay.
I think early summer it
I
got
need to get my
finished.
bike out and.
Yeah,
That's pretty nice.
it's
Yeah.
a nice way. It connects from there. You can
Okay.
ride all the way up to into the crossover Dave Ward into the UCA campus.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Pop out by the tennis courts.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, bring
Okay.
you up on the tennis courts at UCA.
Wow. Wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
That's what I was assuming. I'm like, that's a bike trail, but I think it was before.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all discussed that before we had joined or something, or.
Yeah, that's one of the new things too, as we get into the bicycle master plan. That's like
Okay.
some of the updates we got to make is
Okay.
we've added
Those different.
a lot of stuff that has been added. So the date on the last update was 2016.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, we've as far as the things that we've done just in the last 2 years, a ton of stuff's been done. So we've got a lot of work to do
Right.
on that.
I just love it, and I hear people when they come in and talk about the bike lanes.
Yeah, one thing too, while we're talking about like old business and updates before we jump into the master plan, we have probably 3 of the largest cycling events in the history of Conway are going to happen this summer. So we've got the Ugly Gnome is going to happen on the mountain bike trail that was built out at Meadows Tech Park, which
Right,
is
yes.
a little bit further south where
Mhm.
Gainwell was. There's a 3-mile trail system out there.
Okay.
So that's happening May 4th and 5th. And then at the same location, there's going to be 2 NICA events, and I put some brochures there too. That is the high school cycling league,
Mhm.
expecting roughly about 1,000 student athletes plus their families
Yes.
competing at that location. So there'll be one event in August and another one later in September. So they'll do a time trial and then they come back in August and actually have races where they do multiple laps.
Mhm.
So excited to see how that goes and how that is going to maybe create more of a cycling culture and more excitement in Conway.
Neat.
Anything else, and we'll jump into the master plan.
Yeah, I finally walked the trail at the Meadows one day.
You did?
Hiked it.
You
did?
We did. I was with my 5-year-old and husband,
Yeah.
so we did the whole thing. But like, it was neat being out
Yeah.
there. So
You're kind of in the woods and then out in the
Yeah,
field a little
right.
bit and then back in the woods
It was-
and it's,
right.
yeah. So the weather can affect it, but it's draining much better
okay.
now. We've been doing a lot of work on it with the drainage. So like if you were out there in December or January, it was like a quagmire.
Right.
And now the other day it rained. We got 2 inches of rain, and now the trail's already rideable.
No.
So,
Okay.
Mm.
so made a lot of progress with it. So with that being said, let's jump into the master plan. I'm excited to have your help on this because it's a lot of work. Carol, before you got here, I was just we were going through the table of contents.
Okay.
And looking at it, and I just kind of had mentioned that I felt like being the bike and pedestrian coordinator, it'd be very easy for me to update chapters 1 through 4.
Okay.
And then what we would do is kind of look at the other chapters and assign roles for like somebody to take a look at chapter 5 and start making updates. And then also for 6, 7, if somebody wants to help me with the funding, that's great, but I can probably work with the city's grant writer and everything on that too to make sure that's updated appropriately. And then the goals and objectives in 8, some of these will probably like 6 and 8, we probably need 2 people on each of those working together. And then what I thought we can do, the other thing that I wanted to discuss tonight is like workflow, how we do it. You know, obviously we can't do it all in the meeting.
Right.
Some of it will have to go out, like you might have to just take an evening and go for a walk or a bike ride or
Right.
a drive
Talk
or
about it.
whatever and check out some of the stuff. And so it's going to be kind of like a field project.
Yes.
That'll be a little bit of fun. So I wanted to determine the workflow. And then the other thing that I'll do is make sure that we have like an editable, like a Word document where we can track changes.
Right.
We can take it, the copy as it is now,
Mhm.
and is everybody comfortable working like if we work together in like Word?
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
So, and so that'll kind of be that process. But
Okay.
so chapter 5, bicycle advocacy. If you look at that, it's 2 pages. It's not too bad. So if somebody wanted to take a look at that, take charge of that, and make any edits or something as we work through this. That's probably just a one person.
Okay. And so will we get in contact with CAB or just,
Yeah.
Oh,
So CAB, we can work hand in hand with CAB. They're great
Okay.
partners, obviously, and that's a lot of this chapter is on them
okay,
and their role in the community.
right.
So we can put you in touch with, if whoever takes that, we put you in touch with the president of CAB and
Okay.
a couple of the board members, and
Okay.
probably in a 30-minute phone call or something, you can probably knock out a lot of this.
I can take that.
Okay. There's some things too, I'm trying to see, they got, if they have anything about, because they've renamed it's the bicycle share and repair has been renamed, just so you know, it's the Conway Cycle Project. Yeah. And it's a pretty impressive facility. I would encourage any of you, if you're not familiar with where that is, it's next to the fire department on Old Milton Highway, right by the come and go.
Oh, okay.
Do you know the physical address there? Kind of right, there's,
Yeah, it's just on the north side of that fire department.
yeah, right as you start to head north off
You're going up
of
toward the,
Donaghy and
on
Old Milton.
Donaghy, and it kind of does a curve. There's a light the old way to the
Yeah.
lake.
Before you get to that gas station there on the,
Yeah,
On the
before
left.
that, it's
Yeah.
as the road curves.
Yeah.
You know, if you're coming westbound, it's got what's there? There's a gas station across the street. Trying to remember what the things in the 4 corners, but it's there's one lane that you don't have to stop.
Mhm.
And the log trucks, as they're going west, do a north to get on 64.
Mhm.
Where that lane is, where they're speeding,
Right.
Yeah.
it's right there. The fire station is pretty easy to see. We can
Is
look it
it-
up.
1820 US
Yeah.
64 maybe?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Is it right next to the fire station?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just on the north
It's
side.
like the last building, just, and then there's like an open spot after
You
that.
said
There's a sign on the
18.
It's
front.
like 1820
Yeah,
US
1820,
64.
yeah.
We're looking at trying to pick up on Saturday days. Right now, we're open on Monday and Wednesday, noon to 3.
Oh, wow. That's a
And so
weird time.
there's, we just get volunteers and
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
neat.
You said Monday and Wednesdays?
Yeah, and we're looking at doing Saturdays. There's a Facebook
Okay.
page that we put
Yeah.
info out on.
And it's a great thing that they're doing. Like the other day, I happened to be standing at the Ride Bike Shop and somebody picked up somebody that was walking.
Right.
They'd walked from like 5 miles outside of town.
Oh, wow.
And so they picked them up and realized they needed a bike, and the bike share was open. They took them straight to the bike share and were able to get them a bike. So now that person has
wow.
transportation where they didn't before.
Oh, my gosh.
There's more
Okay.
people than you think that come in here and they don't have a car
Yes.
and they need it fixed or
Yes.
pretty good. I
Okay.
think we need more.
It'll help me
Word.
to understand more about
Yeah.
CAB, so.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty
Some
neat.
of that too. So like one of the reasons I brought up the event is because part of this is like the events.
With them, okay.
In your chapter that you're working on is you'll have to add like that ugly gnome and the Nike events and stuff to
Okay,
that.
okay then.
See, so that takes us to 6 infrastructure plans. This is probably the tough one. We'll take several and to do. It's going to involve bike routes and be pretty in depth. So we have, one of the things that Jeremy worked on, and that it's a nice comprehensive list of low traffic, low volume, low traffic, roads that we can use and start identifying as bike routes as well throughout the community. So I can share that document along with the raise grant stuff that will all kind of be encompassed in this. So that's going to be pages. Yeah, this is kind of a big, that'll go from
14 to 17.
22, 13 to 20, 14 to 22. It's kind of a big chapter. I didn't put my name on that, but I'll be involved in kind of walking everybody through that. What would you guys consider for questions and answers as you work on this? Do we just want to keep a text thread, or do you want to do create a group me, or what would you like? What's your preference of communication? Just if you have a question, you pick it up and you're working on it or something for a little bit.
Either way, yeah. Group text is fine.
Yeah.
All right.
And if it needs to be more in depth, send an email or something, or yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
If it's just we'll just keep that group text going then, and we'll use that. But if it's something like really in depth, just shoot an email.
You're right.
Shoot an email out. Because if you're like me, I probably get 100 texts a day, and you get lost. So 6, I'm going to put my name next to, but they'll probably need.
Yeah, I'll play. It's got, you look down at that vision, there's a whole bunch of just categories, if you will.
Yeah. Keith, since you're involved in that bike share program, if you kind of take a subsection of it and you do bike share.
You can put me on 6 too. I can help out with that.
Okay. Some of these might be like on the trails, is just kind of looking at what's already on here, and we either mark it complete or still pending, and maybe we update the target completion date.
Do you see many of those changing on the target completion dates?
I think there's some that were like the tunnel under Salem is targeted completion's 2020, so we'll probably change that.
Yeah. Maybe a little late on that one.
So that street's going to be closed. That I don't have a timeline for that, but that should be done. And I would imagine the goal is that they try to get it done over the summer before the kids go back to school.
Like within the year, probably.
The Day Ward pedestrian bridge is done. So there's the Tupelo Bayou Trail is that's where it extends further west from Hogan all the way out to what used to be the Centennial Soccer Fields, which are being moved uptown. So we did have some funding to extend that, but it was a small grant. It wasn't a significant amount, and there's a lot of floodplain and different things to deal with out there. So that would be a very expensive addition. That's we need to move that date out.
Did it get canceled or is it still on the
It hasn't
table?
been canceled, but it's there's not enough funding there, so I think it's still, I would say it's probably more on the back burner that we move that. I could get some more details on that from city planners and stuff, but if we probably need to move that target completion date out fairly significantly.
Like
Now that the
2027.
soccer fields are moved in town, the urgency of doing it isn't
Oh, okay,
quite as what it once was.
like 2030.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, so anyhow. So there's three of us on that, and then that leaves goals and objectives, chapter 8. You look at chapter 8.
And that's what I was waiting on. I'll put myself down for that. I like goals and objectives.
You like that?
You want me to get up since mine's
Oh, yeah.
30 minutes or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
If you, I mean, if you,
No,
you
I-
got it.
Well, he said 2 people, so whoever wants to be my second
Okay,
person.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
And can I volunteer Lori for this
Yeah.
as well? Because,
We should, since they're not here, we should volunteer them for everything.
Yes.
So,
That's how it works.
because I think she has some good thoughts. And we both
Yeah.
have like a marketing communication background, so I
Yeah.
think objective
yeah,
number.
Yeah, with Lori's background and all that stuff, I think she'd be
Just
good.
taking notes and let you.
No,
Let you all do that.
no, it's pretty lengthy, so no, I think I need 3.
You can be the head.
One of the other things, let's see what page that was on. I remember reading it. Page 26.
Oh, yes.
It talks about the partnership with UCA Hendricks and
What's 31?
the safe routes to schools.
Yeah,
So I kind of volunteered to look into trying to resurrect that, if you will.
yeah.
So I can continue to look into that to see where we need to go,
Yeah.
because I think we've talked about, you just gotta go to one school and work that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be almost like a door-to-door program because you have to build trust. You have to develop the routes and build trust, and then also find some volunteers within that school so that it's self-sustaining, that it's, not us or the cycling community. We need to get the school to kind of take ownership of that program, and that takes a little bit of time. So that's kind of my learnings from talking to other communities, like the safe routes to school. Like, it's going to be a school by school, and we might not be able to get every school to buy into it. I think, I don't know, I've seen some of the middle schools have high cycling and pedestrian usage, but the elementary schools are very heavy with car riders, and we've all seen the car rider line. So
Mhm.
I think some of that is just not, as we do more things and people see us do more things like the lane blocks on Hairston,
Right.
better signage and more awareness, education, things like that. As we start doing that throughout the community more often, that's going to help with safe routes to schools. But it's kind of that's almost like, I would say that's almost a full-time job,
Right.
like
Is it?
to really get that going full tilt. So
Yeah.
so what I like you guys to do is kind of take a look at the chapters that you got. Since we'll have to talk to Kimby whenever she gets back to and pull her into some of this. But like Adina, if you want to reach out to Lori and let her know what you volunteered her for.
Yes.
And then we'll and just start looking at it and then asking questions. Like, we'll just start this process. Like, if you got questions on, I'll get you the document. And the document is going to be like a living document. You can make
Right.
you can ask questions if you're familiar with how to do that in edits. Like you can put a little comment box over here, and we can work it that way too. So.
Okay.
So we're working off of one document that we're all gonna edit
Yeah, we'll
together?
all be working off of one
Okay.
document. And so like if you go in there, like you'll be able to go in and see the changes that I made, Adina made or whatever. And so like just because Adina's doing a thing doesn't mean that, Kaylin, if you got a question on it, like we're all teammates here.
Sure.
Right.
So like we're stronger together than we are just one of us just doing their own little segment at a time. So
So for this one, for goals and objectives, like the purpose is to kind of update, because they're not really, I like finding the roots, but there's not really anything to look at. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I volunteer for it, but I'm trying to make sure, do I do it correctly? Like, do I reach out to the city or?
I think there's things here that we could probably take off.
Okay.
And then there's things that you might want to add to it too, whenever you
Okay.
think about what we're trying to do as a community, make Conway a better place to live,
Right.
recreate, not just recreation, but also alternative transportation.
Right.
And also thinking about, like we talked about the challenges with Safe Routes to Schools, the connecting to parts of the community that don't have bike lanes, that we need to think about adding bike lanes to those communities. So, like whenever I drive down Harkrider, and I think about some of the lower income folks that are out there out in that side of town,
Yeah.
and like those are folks that might need bicycles, but that is not a fun road to ride. Like, I think I've done it once, and I swore I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
So you can see where
There's a
they've worn a dirt path. Like there's that many people walking or riding, they've worn a dirt path in the grass. And so thinking of it, and so some of this isn't like where you have to devote a ton. Like you could just be driving to work one day, Adina, and you just look over and it's gonna jump out at you like that did for me. And so this is a thing where, and then before we finalize this, we can all sit down and go over the goals and objectives that you came up with, and we might add more stuff to it, or we might take something off. So
Okay.
before we finalize this and it goes before city council, we'll just do a complete review, stem to stern.
Mhm. I think a lot of that would be born from what y'all come up with in the other sections too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so we'll all be familiar. So whenever this gets presented to city council and gets voted in, and goes before them, it'll be our final work product.
Okay.
You think about, lots happened in 8 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're right, there will be the delete key.
yeah. There's going to be stuff getting deleted, stuff getting added. So I will, I'll make our text thread like official, and then I'll get you the editable document too, so that this will become a living, working document with edits and stuff. But also, I will share the Connect Conway map,
Right.
because that's going to be one of the major things that we need to add, that raised grant, and how it's going to connect the additional 13 miles of greenway
Right.
connection and everything.
Okay.
Some of this is literally going to be copy and paste from that document and
This
putting it into here. And I'm happy to help in any of these chapters that you need me to be involved in. Reach out to me. I'll happy to answer any questions. So
I just went on to CAB's website and count the president for 2024 and some officers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I can.
yeah, and I can put you in touch with any of them via text, email,
Okay.
phone call.
Okay.
If you want me to set up like a Zoom call or something, whatever
Okay.
you want to do.
Okay. All right.
So on number 6 or section 6, talking about the trails that are coming, how are we defining trail? Like, is that multi-use trail, like for part C? Is that how we're defining it here?
So, yeah,
So I'm looking at like
there's
the-
multi-use, like I would consider Tucker Creek, Kinley Trail is multi-use.
Mhm.
And then there's multi-use soft surface trails too, which which are not on here. Like there's really no mention of this is all really hard surface. And I think we should add some of the other opportunities that we have for multi-use trails because the city's developing like the trail at Pompey Park.
right.
That is multi-use. People can hike on that just as well as bike. It is built for bikes. And if you're hiking on it, expect to see bikes. Cadron is hiking and biking. And then obviously the Meadows Tech Park is both hiking and biking. So
I'm just thinking like, well, for example, like the airport loop trail where it talks about having a trail that goes through like Lolly Road, Sand Gap Road, all that.
yeah.
Are we expecting to have like an actual trail, or is it going to be
So-
one bike lane or just a
That-
designated route?
I think that best scenario for that is a designated route. Essentially, it's a known route now. It's just not been designated. It just needs signage, and some of it goes out into the county. So it involves working with the county on that. But,
Same with like Arkansas River Trail, I
Yeah.
assume.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that there's not necessarily going to be there are bike lanes out there, but they stop once you get past the airport. The bike lane stops.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of it just be a designated bike route.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think we need to distinguish that in here? Or do you think it's just understood like that?
I would clarify it as
Like a route versus a
a
trail?
route versus a trail, because we, like in our bike friendly application, we didn't identify it as a trail or whatever. So,
Right.
and I think really where the exact line is, it's out there somewhere close to Donnell Ridge. Whenever you're running out towards the airport on Donnell Ridge, the city limit stops somewhere on that road before you get to the bridge.
Okay.
And then from the north side of it, I don't know exactly where it stops either, where the city limit signs, but it pretty much all comes to an end out there. We do have part of some of the, like the designating more bike routes through town using some of the low volume roads, whether it's through neighborhoods or side streets. We've got blazes and stuff that will be getting those installed. This year you'll see more of those going up where there'll just be little reflective blazes on the ground.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try to pilot some of the bike routes with.
Those will be along the greenway roads that Jeremy had identified back in the day?
Yeah, it'll be on some of those maps. Trying to remember what the name of that document was, but it was, yeah,
Green something,
yeah.
it seemed like.
It's just a series of color-coded, routes,
Yeah.
so all around town.
I've seen something that had red and black routes, red routes, and I don't
Yeah,
remember where I saw it. It was online. Sounds like something like that. And some of them just were little,
yeah,
went somewhere and stopped, and then,
yeah. It's really just taking like the Redden route
right.
and we're just spreading that all across town, and they would be probably more color-coded than anything.
Because I think the red route's a good example, because you can't have all the fancy underpasses and bridges and
Yeah,
all over town,
yeah.
unless you're Bentonville.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Any questions?
Yeah, there's,
Feel comfortable with it?
mhm.
Till we
overwhelmed.
start working on it.
Questions will come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I expect questions. That's,
Yeah.
questions are a good thing. So, and that hopefully, whenever we're done with this, you're gonna have a lot more intimate knowledge about the
Yes,
community. So,
can go out and present and talk about it.
yeah.
What's the target date for having this completed, you think, to put it before city council?
This is probably going to take several months
Yeah.
to do. Just I don't. You guys aren't spending 40 hours a week on
Yeah.
this, so I'm being realistic. Like I would love to see it. Maybe I would say if we're going to pick a target date, what do you guys think about? Because after the summer break, when we come back after the summer break,
Mhm.
that'd probably be about the time I'd like to have it before
Okay,
city council. If we get it done sooner, great. But, this is,
in August, September.
so we don't meet in July, so it'd be
Yes,
August.
right, so it'd be August.
It'd be something I'd like to see on the August city council agenda.
And for newsworthy, or I think like if it's done and approved about Oktoberfest and all that, we can use that as like a
Yeah,
way to promote during that month, like work with the chamber and be like,
yeah,
we have a new master plan and all that stuff too.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for whoever's got the events like Oktoberfest. don't forget.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
That's- yeah.
And the Tour de Frog or something like
Tour de
that.
Toad, that's already, Tour de Toad's already on there,
Okay.
so you don't have to.
Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah, when you get to that event
That's right,
thing, if you-
Oktoberfest. That's true. That's true.
And so is a pedestrian master plan a separate thing, or should we try to weave that in this? Or,
It is separate,
okay,
yeah, it is separate, so,
I've been looking at it.
yeah,
Yeah, Tour de Toad is on
Okay.
there.
This is the priority right now.
yeah,
The kids track.
The other thing I guess I want to add is there's
There's
that
something else on
this-
there.
Goal Zero plan. I think the draft is supposed to come out in April.
yeah,
And I've talked with those guys before. I think one thing we need to do is look at where are they
Do the
headed
graduation.
that'll help us do
Yeah.
our job.
yeah,
We're looking at the draft, maybe we can influence the draft
yeah.
a little
The
bit. for
Vision
just-
Zero, talking about Vision Zero,
Mhm,
yeah.
Yeah. And
Is that, you talking about coming from Metro Plan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk with Hans, I think.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Conway
And,
Fall.
So I'm looking at, okay, what are those guys doing? What's their kind of long-range plan? At least do this,
Yeah.
This is
know
it.
what they're thinking,
Conway
so
Fall
we don't have to
Yeah.
do something, or we
So
can
they-
influence it.
Yeah. Well, that's all part of it too, like, working with, like Metro Plan is a big funder of some of these projects.
And
So,
September was the graduation.
yeah, so we'll be working with them on that.
Also, the long term, if we try to connect here with Little Rock, seeing what they're gonna be
Yeah.
doing.
Well, realistically, probably how this, as we get this updated, where we feel like we're getting close, then we probably start looking at our Vision Zero strategy and what one of those plans, looking at like a neighboring community or somebody that's got a solid plan to see if there's something we're not thinking of before we
Okay.
finalize.
Right.
Right, and we can always, this bicycle master plan, just, it should get updated, very quickly once a year instead of,
Yeah.
COVID, just blame it on
yeah,
COVID.
it's COVID's
Yeah,
fault.
like a,
So
eight-year
I think
plan.
then it's a lot less heavier lift,
Right.
especially for a group of volunteers and everything, so.
see, like at the year, no changes, approve it, move on.
Yeah, yeah, it's easier to keep track because it's
Yes.
fresh in your mind.
that can be an objective, update plan every year.
Yeah, there you go.
Good input.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just put that on my calendar to have it updated
Yeah.
and annually once we do it.
There's so much stuff, but yeah,
Yeah. So,
make it a whole lot easier problem. Okay,
well, other than that, I don't have anything else that we need to vote on. It's kind of, did you guys get to look at the bylaws? Do you have any questions on bylaws or anything?
I had 2 copies of Article 2. I didn't know if that was the correct thing or not. So is it Article 2 is in big letters?
Yeah.
So it's Article 2 of a bigger set of bylaws would be my guess.
You know, I don't,
You did have a date, so it looks more current than the old one.
to me, it's like the, you know, that's specific to BPAB. Article 1 might be the art board or
Yeah,
something
that's what I
along
was
those
thinking
lines.
when I
So
read-
that's,
when I read
that's how I look at that. There's not really an Article 1.
Because there wasn't a ton of changes on this.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it starts section 2.01, so
yeah.
Article 1's probably just a different document.
Yeah.
There is a pedestrian master plan too in here, in your binders.
Oh, I see it. But it's more recent than the,
Yeah, yeah. August 2018. So,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It gets in a lot more details. There's like engineering drawings and colored pictures and.
I'll get the, I'll update you once I get the report card from League of American Cyclists, because the report card for the bronze is in here, but it'd be nice to compare once we get the silver report card. They haven't emailed that yet. So anyhow. How's that?
I like it.
That's a
Sounds
good plan.
yeah.
Well, I have no further items on the agenda. I kind of left on the agenda each month. You'll see that I'll just kind of leave our focus just to kind of keep us on task
Okay.
of some of the things that we want to do. So you'll see some other things on there, like the Safer Access School and the different Division 0 plan. But obviously, we're focused on this now, and just to kind of so we don't lose track of what we're doing.
The only other thing I have it's from the notebook. There was, in 2018, it showed an annual report
Yeah,
that the BPAP
Yeah.
did.
yeah.
Is that something that we want to pick
Well-
back up? I mean, I don't know who reads it.
You know, I think that's something that's, you know, probably obviously done every year. I don't know why there's just a 2018, but I'll take a look at it.
I didn't know if that was some, you know, I didn't know what it was for. Like who actually reads it, and if there hasn't been one done.
Well, everything we do is public,
Right.
you know, so it's probably good. Like I know we've done those annual reports. I've seen them where we've basically reported on our work product for the year. You know, I think you think of that like what we got into code around 20. So I don't know that there's been a ton of productivity, but I know there's reports out there. So
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
well.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate your time. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn, or do you have any questions, anything we'd like to discuss in an open forum?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Text Lori right now. All right.
You need to let her know.
Yeah, let her go.
Thank y'all, and appreciate you being flexible and skipping having a meeting during spring break.
Yes.
So we'll be back on track next month
Okay.
with the meeting. So.
Okay.
And I'll get the live documents and all that to you in the next few days,
Mhm.
so we can get started.
Sounds good.
Uh,
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Kaylin, thanks for the notes.
Absolutely.
Ah, and it's still light outside, so that's a good
That is
thing.
nice.
I know.
What is this Western Arterial Loop this talks about that's being constructed? Any idea?
Our readers back on. That's how I know I'm getting old.
Haven't heard of that one.
I carried mine for my friends.
Oh, you know, you ever get like Sonic water with flavoring?
No, I've been about that?
I guess.
There's a western arterial trail that's gonna run parallel to a western arterial loop.
Yes.
Or
But I didn't know what that
strawberry
was.
is real.
Okay.
Logistically.
Or artificial.
Yes.
Let's mix them up. It's probably out, it's still not.
That is about as vague as you can get. I glanced over that and remember seeing it, and I just thought I needed to come back, but I don't.
And she said she goes and gets.
I'll have to,
And I said, she said,
I'll have
maybe,
to
and she
maybe
said, I
talk to
know
some
it's
of the
just
older
maybe it's just
members that were on the
psychological.
board
She
back
said, but
then
it's
to
really
see
good, and
what.
that's the only way she can.
It's still out in the future. It's not like it's a past due thing, but
Yeah.
I was just curious. It sounds impressive, whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been vague because they
Okay, so that's
Right.
strawberry mango and strawberry peach. Yeah. My son, he's like,
Tyler or something like that loop.
I'll,
It's good. It's fun.
because,
Yeah. If you're